You know, it's a big deal when one of the largest automakers in the world, Toyota, enters the electric mobility space. The brand has largely championed hybrids and fuel cell technology and has been rather cautious about electric mobility. But it understands that having EVs is now important and aims to spread its portfolio to a much diverse customer base. And that's where this comes in. Say hello to the Toyota urban cruiser eBella. Yes, that's quite a long name, and this is Toyota's first EV for India. Well, what you see here isn't just its own EV, but the first in terms of collaboration with Suzuki. So yes, you may have seen this also as the Maruti Suzuki Vitara. What you see here is the badge engineered cousin, but more importantly, this is Toyota's iteration. Is it better? Is it something that's very different? We tell you all of that in this video, but before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button to never miss an update from us. The urban cruiser eBella shares its underpinnings with the e-Vitara. Both are based on the e-Hardtech platform and are built at Suzuki's Sanand facility for India and the world. But the design language over here is completely different. This is Toyota's hammerhead global design language. You see it on the Camry, especially in India, but here I think it gives a completely new look to the SUV. What you see here is a much cleaner design compared to the e-Vitara. The bonnet is nice and long. You have this nice piano black closed off grille over here, and the bumper actually is much nicer. Body colored, less body cladding, and even a piano black finish on the lower section near the air intakes. Overall, this is a much nicer, much cleaner design in my opinion, and I do think this is a more urban-esque SUV in that sense. What I also like are the headlamps here, much cleaner in appearance, but what I don't like are the LED DRL pattern. The stagger unit is very 2000s, like very old, and I think this should have been more futuristic. What Toyota could have done instead is just use this pattern here to make it more dynamic and would have given the eBella a more futuristic design overall, something that would resonate better with its EV positioning. But come to the profile, and the proportions are nearly identical. Well, the car nearly has the same proportions as the e-Vitara, and you can see it in the silhouette as well. The cladding remains the same, the wheels remain the same. I think that's a big miss. Toyota should have gone for its own set of wheels or different aero design at least. And the only way to tell that this is a Toyota model is the BEV badging that you see here, which is not available on the Maruti model.
The pronounced wheel arches lend a muscular feel, while the rear door handles are integrated into the C-pillar. The taillights get the ice cube theme like the LED DRLs, but there are no connected lights. The bumper gets a clutter-free appearance, much like the front. The eBella scores well on proportions and a different visual identity, but it sorely misses out on style.
Barring the badge that you see on the steering wheel, there's nothing that will tell you that this is in fact the eBella and not the e-Vitara, and that's something we've seen with all badge engineered cars between Suzuki and Toyota. They don't change a lot, and that is the case over here as well. You continue to get the dual tone finish on the dashboard. The seats also get the dual tone finish, and they come with fabric and leatherette in a mix over here. You get ventilation at front. The driver's seat is 10-way electrically adjustable, so that's a good thing. You also get this half sunroof. It's not a panoramic unit, so just about right for the Indian market. And yes, a 10.1 digital console and a 10.25-inch infotainment screen. Now let me just quickly talk about things that I like about this and I don't like about this. First up, I do like the buttons. The fact that you have tactile physical buttons is very, very nice. There's a wireless charging pad over here, which again I like very well. And like I said, a volume button and tactile feel overall in the cabin. That's something that I do like. What I think Toyota and by extension Maruti also has missed out on is giving shortcuts for other things or direct buttons. For example, the ventilated seats do not have a direct access. I have to go through the climate control menu, select on the seat option, and then select the option that I want for ventilation of my seats. This could have been simply a button like in other cars, and I think that would have been much simpler overall. And the overall UI of the touchscreen is not something that I like. It's not very bright for a car that's supposed to be futuristic or up to modern times. This feels a little dull, and I think that can be a whole lot better. Maybe a little more exciting is what I'm looking for. Moving to the rear seat of the eBella, I think headroom could have been better. Legroom is fine. I think overall space is also fine. But yes, you do sit in a slightly knees-up position, as is the case with a lot of electric vehicles in particular. So under-thigh support isn't that great. That is something I miss out on. And of course, headroom is something I miss out on because you do not get a panoramic roof. And despite that, and the higher driving position, you kind of sit like this, like a little crouched way. That said, you get headrests for all 3 passengers. You also get 3-point seat belts for all passengers, and there is ISOFIX anchorages as well.
The eBella gets 7 airbags, including a knee airbag for the driver, disc brakes on all 4 wheels, 360-degree camera, electronic parking brake, and an acoustic vehicle alert system. There's also level 2 ADAS with adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, collision alert system, and more. The boot capacity is 308 liters, but I would hardly call it generous. It's good enough to hold 2 medium-sized bags at best.
The Urban Cruiser eBella is available in 2 battery pack options. There's the 49 kWh and the 61 kWh. We are driving the latter, and this is in fact the more powerful version as well. 172 bhp, 193 Nm of peak torque, and I think this is a very nicely set up car. Performance is quite nice, especially in the sport mode, and if you are out on a highway like we are today, you will enjoy driving the car, especially on well-paved roads. I'll tell you why that is important later. Performance is quite brisk. This is a swift car. Put it in sport and you will find very good acceleration. The steering is quite light at low speeds and weighs up just enough at high speeds. It's not a very feedback-rich steering wheel. I think that could have been done better, and just overall feedback could have been a whole lot better on the car in terms of driving dynamics. Handling is nice. It will do well for the most parts, but it's not a very enthusiastic car in that sense. This is a family-oriented car is how I see it. Very neutral in its appeal and not something that is supposed to keep you entertained like that. But it has its good moments, especially out on the highway, out on good roads. That's where you enjoy it the most. Now, why you need good roads is because the suspension itself is actually quite firm. The ride quality isn't as plush. And that's disappointing because Toyota makes some of the most well-equipped cars when it comes to ride quality. Be it the Innova Hycross, the Creta, they are very well to drive cars and very well to be driven into. And that's where I think this could have done better. The suspension is very firmly sprung and very European-like. So I understand the car will get exported a lot over there. But for Indian roads, I think it could have done with a more plush suspension setup. There's a lot of bounce at low speeds, especially if you don't have passengers at the back. The rear suspension bounces a lot. And at high speeds also, you can feel almost all undulations coming back to you. Cushioning also could have been better. I think it could have absorbed better in terms of undulations. And I think that's where some of the shortcomings do feel very apparent.
There are 3 regeneration modes, but you do not feel the regen braking kicking in. There is no one pedal driving here. You do not get paddle shifters either, which means changing regen modes on the move is not possible. Toyota claims a range of 543 km on a single charge with a bigger battery pack. We saw about 100 km consumed with 75% charge to spare in a relatively short drive. This translates to a real-world range of about 400 km. We will test out this claim more effectively when we have the car for a complete road test.
The eBella balances off very well. It's not overtly sporty, but it's not underpowered as well. I think that's a very nice balance to have. And if you are looking at a Toyota EV specifically, this will be a very good package for you. Having said that, the competition is right up there and that will make things very difficult. And I mean, there's the Hyundai Creta, the Tata Curvv EV, the Mahindra BE6, and all are exceptional in many ways. And I think that's where the big challenge is, because what Toyota does miss out on is offering an X factor on the eBella that should have been there when compared to the competition. And I think Toyota is really being cautious with its first EV and maybe just testing waters here. But I feel that they could have done a lot more in making it stand out better.
Toyota is kicking off its electric mobility journey with over 500 EV-enabled service touchpoints. Companies offering an 8-year battery warranty and even battery as a service rental program. And to further ease of purchase, there is a 60% buyback assurance scheme after 3 years. Toyota is expected to announce prices later this month. but not before Maruti discloses prices for the e-Vitara. And we expect the new eBella to start from around 17 lakh rupees onwards, undercutting its rivals.
The Toyota Urban Cruiser eBella comes across as a sensible man's EV. It's the right size, has the right number of features, and even the space inside is just the right amount for a family of 5. What it misses out is in the wow factor that I think could have done better for the car as a whole. Now, as an EV and Toyota's first, this should have had some X factor that I think is just missing on the car. It needs to be slightly louder, and I do think that the competition right now is better prepared and better equipped in the segment. So while Toyota is here and will offer this, it needs to do slightly better with the eBella in terms of pricing to really make a mark. That's where the big difference will be.